Well, we have another experiment coming on here. So, I bought a solar thermos, which is not here yet. This is the preliminary test. And the question is, can I boil water in the evening, put it in a thermos, and have it still be hot enough to make coffee in the morning? Now, I have this thermos, which has been a very good thermos over the years, but it is broken. I mean, it's just falling apart. You do this and the bottom will fall out and the top is messed up, and this guy here was spitting at me last night. It's also quite big. So I wanted to get something that was a little bit smaller. A friend of mine had this one laying around. This is a Stanley, and this guy's capacity is 25 ounces. So this is pretty much perfect for what I need. I could even probably go a little bit smaller, being as that a single cup of coffee is going to be a little over 12 ounces. I'd say like 16 ounces is usually what I would do. But the question is this Stanley as good at keeping stuff hot as this? I put the exact amount in both, which is a little bit skews the experiment, because if I were to fill this up all the way, this would probably stay a little bit warmer. But I want to see which one of these guys is warmer. So I have my little thermometer here, and since the water's only about halfway down through here, oh, it's actually there enough I can get that thermometer in there. So let's stick our thermometer in there. Now this was boiling last night around midnight. So this water looks like it's topping out at about 137, just shy of 140. Show you guys that. So that's where that one's at. Is that warm enough to make coffee? It'll work. It'll work. If I can't get hotter water otherwise. Now the Stanley. Whoa, we're past 140. We're past 160. Looks like we are hovering around 165. So the Stanley's actually keeping it about 20 degrees warmer. So it looks like the Stanley's going to be my winner to make coffee this morning. Let's make sure the coffee works right. So I've added it to my guy here. Now I actually added a little bit, slightly above the fill to line. And so I've had my eye on solar kettles lately. I couldn't ship them into a pickup location, so I had to wait until I got to my main address. And so it's a good time to test it too, because here in Pennsylvania it is a rare sunny day and it is 36 degrees outside, so it's actually pretty cold. Now I'm warm because of my big thick black jacket here, but I want to go ahead and test this guy. Now these kettles, you can get them for as cheap as 50 bucks and as expensive as a couple hundred. And I wanted to go with the cheapest they had, but that wasn't ready to ship yet. And I don't know how long I'm going to be here, so I went with something that I could get pretty quick. So I don't specifically see a brand. I think it was one of the like A-Prep or something like that. I don't know. But just look up solar thermos and you will find these guys on Amazon. So these are kind of like the Go Sun guys that you can cook food in as well. So I could throw like ramen noodles or something else in here and cook it. That's not really my intention. My intention is simply going to be to heat water in it, and then I have a thermos that can keep hot water hot for several hours. We're talking hot enough to still make coffee that's too hot to drink 10 to 12 hours later. So if I can boil water at sundown, put it in my thermos, and then have that water to make coffee in the morning that I don't have to use gas or electric for, and then just warm up some more water throughout the day, that would be a really good benefit. And so if this guy works nicely, then we'll do that. Now on the back we have instructions about it. This one here, apparently it's made of plastic instead of glass. That was some of the big concerns people had with these being glass. So I don't know how this is going to work with plastic. They do say that it heats water in 30 to 45 minutes in direct sun, and it can boil in 45 minutes to 120 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now again, it is 36 degrees outside, so we'll see what this looks like. Now opening the box up here, there's a temperature gauge in the cap. Not sure exactly how accurate that gauge is. We can test that another time. But for now, we're just going to open this guy up. And there's nothing else in the box. There we are. We got our rocket ship here. Looks like a Blue Origin's rocket. Ew, frightening. And we have a little piece of paper. Basically instructions, always fill it to the top, which is about 3 cups. Do not overfill. Open reflectors outward and gently squeeze the metal stand until it fits into the pre-cut slots. Okay. So some people are saying that broke when I lifted by the handle. This does not appear to be a handle. Maybe it is, but it doesn't feel sturdy enough to carry this whole thing. So I would definitely carry it by your hands. This is plastic. It doesn't feel like super amazingly strong. It says monitor the temperature with the built-in thermometer. Good for a cup of tea. Ideal temperature is 195. Not point the boiler at anybody. All right, there you go. And of course, if you use it for noodles, make sure you clean it. So right now, tell me the inside of here is 60 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's good. Now this guy here, we have, as I said, this guy, which is a stand. I don't think it's designed as a handle. I think it's designed as a stand. And then these guys will open up, and then it's going to reflect the sun back into the tube. And then we have a couple different levels of tube in here. And I don't know, I'd be surprised if there's not glass in here. There's something down here at the bottom. Okay, we have another stand down here at the bottom. So you can fold out that stand. And then let's go ahead and open the top up here. It's just, it's very tight. And a lot of that's because there's a lot of rubber in it. And then you can see inside here, there's rubber. This is your temperature gauge. And then it does actually feel like glass. They said it's plastic, but this does feel like glass inside. So assume it's glass. That's what we're going to do. I have some filtered water here. I'm going to go ahead and fill it up. I'm trying to see if there is a fill to line. I don't specifically see one. I'm guessing that's near the top. There's no fill line, so it says fill it to the top but don't overflow. So okay, whatever that means. And right now, as I stick the temperature gauge in there, the water temperature looks like it's just above 50. It is cold inside of the van, and so you know, it's been under 20. It finally today, for the first time in a couple days, broke above freezing. So we're going to lift this guy up here, and then there's these slots inside. Now it looks like I see automatically the biggest downside is you can't really adjust the angle of this. So it's going to stick at its own angle no matter what that angle would be. So we're going to set her in the sun. Alright, so this is what the guy's going to look like. Now I do need to straighten it out a little bit. It's a little bit better with the sun there. So the water temperature already went from 50 up to 60 in 2 minutes. Alright, so this has actually been running for only a half hour. We started at 1:45. It is now 2:15. You can see the temperature. Remember, it started at about 60 degrees. And then now it's just about 100. So it's rose 40 degrees in 40 minutes. So we're going to come back and monitor it again in a little bit. And kind of see my dual reviews going on here. Testing out the solar oven the same day I'm testing out this. Not sure which video is going to be first. Alright, so it is now 3:25. So remember, we put this in at 1:45. So this is 20 minutes shy of 2 hours. We've been in here 100 minutes. It's still about 36-ish degrees, which is cold outside. Now this tube is really cold to the touch. Okay, and so that's kind of telling me that this is actually really well insulated. So we are right at the 2-hour mark. Remember, it said that it would boil water in up to 2 hours, like 45 minutes to 2 hours. And right now we are not quite at boiling, but we are at 180. 180 is certainly good enough for a cup of tea or for making coffee or things like that. Now, am I mad that it hasn't boiled my water in exactly 2 hours? No. Remember, it is just above freezing outside. Being just above freezing outside is going to affect the efficiency of this device, but I can say that it has gotten water in 2 hours from I think it was 50 degrees when we started, on up to 180 in 2 hours time. I can only imagine that in a warmer place, like a desert or something, this guy is going to work out pretty well. So what's the real key here? Well, the sun is reflecting in, and it is actually getting to the point in the day then when the sun's coming down. So the sun's reflecting in, and you can see there's actually 2 tubes in here. One of these, it says it's plastic, but it feels like glass. The inner tube is way darkened. You can kind of see that how black it looks, and that's kind of what's causing it to get hot and warm up. And then we have this vacuated tube on the inside here, or on the outside, that is doing a good job of making sure that it's a really good insulation barrier. So this guy here, though, is working as advertised, and I'm not mad about not exactly boiling in 2 hours and weather just above freezing. That is still a huge benefit. If I were to open that guy up, I could make some hot tea with it right now. So overall, we're going to say this thing here is a success. I'm very happy with the way it's performing, and now it's got to. I'm just going to let the water boil a little bit longer. I'm going to let it get in here and boil a little bit, see how long that takes, because I'm still testing out my solar oven over here. But overall, very good. You can get them as little as $50. I think this one was like 70 or 80. And it's fairly small footprint. It's the size of my shoe. And so I just got to figure out a good place to stow it. So it did get water that's extraordinarily hot, and I went ahead and transferred to my thermos here. The thing is, I'm wondering if they're lying about the capacity. My thermos is a 25 ounce. They say this is 3 cups. Well, 3 cups should be 24 ounces if I'm not mistaken, and it did not come close to filling up the thermos that full. So I'm going to take it back to the house here where I'm staying out here and see if it actually is 3 cups or not, because that's interesting. I thought it would fill this guy almost completely up, minus 1 ounce, and it looks quite a bit short than that. All in all, the solar kettle is absolutely worth the investment. This one only cost me $80, and I have saved so much power on electricity or on propane with boiling water. And I'm still in Pennsylvania, where I don't have a lot of sunny days. I can only imagine how much use I would have gotten with this when I'm boondocking in the middle of the desert for days and days on end, which was very common. So this is absolutely a product worth buying, in my opinion. You might get one with more adjustable stands, or in my case, I just adjust it with blocks of wood or rocks or whatever else. Well, anyway, that'll wrap up this review. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. Hit that notification bell, and we will see you a little bit further down the road.